Although I don't know if it holds up anymore.
I haven't watched it in a while. I need to go back and watch it again.
And
Do you watch Mythic Quest?
I watched the first season. I liked it. I just, for whatever reason, just never kept going.
It just finished their last season.
and it should be on YouTube. It's just taking a while to send. All right, we're good. All right, sending up the music. 3, 2.
Bam, 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 bam.
Hey, it's a
I tell you.
Monday edition, despite what we were telling ourselves before the show started. It's a Monday edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. Welcome to a new week, everybody. I'm Marcus Grant. Greg Bergman, welcome back, man. We didn't see you.
Thanks.
It's nice
I
to
had to step away for a little bit, but I'm back.
Yeah, because you have actual responsibilities that you had to attend to, but
it's a whole nother story for another day.
But we're glad we're glad that Greg Bergman gets to come out and play with us here for a little bit. And of course, as always on a Monday, Clint Pasillas. Clint, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling good. I also stepped away for a while. I have no idea what's going on with life. I was getting drunk in a mountain, or I guess getting drunk off a river all weekend. But we're feeling good. Dodgers splitting 2 of 4 with the Diamondbacks. I guess that's good.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, we'll dive into that. We'll get to the weekend. We'll also, I say we'll look ahead, but the Dodgers are actually off today. So they get a day off. And then the A's come to town for 3 games. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But before we dive into any of that, as always, want to give a shout out to the folks at LAX. They are transforming the travel experience, saving guests time, and looking forward to the People Mover train, which hopefully gets going early next year to help in all of that goodness. For more information, you can go to flylax.com/transforminglax. So, the Dodgers do go to Arizona. They split 2 of 4 with the Snakes there, and it ends well, certainly. But, Greg, your overall thoughts on what you saw from the team this weekend?
At least I saw hits. I saw runs. I saw hits. I thought they were playing pretty well offensively. Especially that game on Friday. Jeez, that could have gone very much either way. So we're saying 2-2. It could have very easily been 1-3, as Marcus pointed out to me earlier. Like that, it's so in that sense, it was a pretty good weekend, I guess. And also, like, they still have the best record in baseball. They're still without Tommy Edmonds, still without Teoscar Hernandez, who should be coming back hopefully this week. And besides that, I mean, look, they are still playing great ball. And my guy, Michael Conforto got 2 hits yesterday.
He has a 2-game hitting streak.
In the same game.
Yeah. He's got a 2-game hitting streak. I mean, look, Clint, 6-4 on the 10-game road trip. I mean, for all the little things that we nitpick at, as Greg pointed out, they have the best record in baseball, so it can't be all bad, right?
Yeah, you go 6-4. You take that kind of winning percentage when you're on the road, longest road trip of the season. They survive it, and along with all of us being lifelong Mike Conforto truthers, like you mentioned, 3 hits in his last 2 games. Max Muncy also put together a pretty decent little series there in Arizona. 0 for yesterday, but did pick up 4 hits in the series. And the MV3 each had 7 hits in the series. So the bats were alive, as Greg mentioned, without Teoscar, without Tommy Edman. It's a little uneven. That's where you get a couple of, where are all the runs? And then, that you could argue game of the year, early candidate for game of the year on Friday.
I mean, that game Friday night was amazing. I didn't get to watch every single pitch. I was kind of in and out, but I'm checking the score and it's like, oh, they're down 3-1. Now they're up 8-3, and wait a minute, it's tied now. What's going on? Now they're down.
What's going on?
Like we were saying, Greg, in our text chat the other night. One, Shohei Ohtani he's just a cheat code, man. Just
so good.
It feels like whenever they need him to come up with something big, he does. Friday night, 3 for 6, including what ended up being the kind of the final nail in the coffin that night, the 3-run home run in the 9th inning. I don't know what else to say other than I'm glad that Shohei Ohtani is on our team.
Oh, okay. It's so nice having Shohei on our team, but also that ball that he hit, it was just so beautiful. Like the swing path was so nice. It was just like, oh my God, this guy is so good. I got asked yesterday during Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day, the next day, to all the mothers that are watching out there. And people were asking me, like, at the end of his career, will Shohei Ohtani be the best baseball player of all time? I mean, I had to think about it for a second because there's Barry Bonds, there's Babe Ruth. He's the closest, but Babe Ruth's obviously the closest to him because he did both. But yeah, I mean, he's Barry Bonds in a that also pitches. We haven't seen him as a Dodger yet, but that's going to be this year. I mean, he very well could be at the end of his career the best baseball player of all time. No,
He's this guy. I was looking at the baseball reference, getting ready for a show I have to do later with Alana Rizzo. Guys, tube in to Dodgers territory at 12 o'clock, and you're looking at the numbers, you're looking at the stats, and you could argue with the stats. He's having a better start to this season than he had in totality last year. Just a very good ball player, and it's such a shame that he had to go through all those years in relative obscurity in Anaheim before he finally got
relative
to the big league. Well, I mean,
obscurity.
He was the only guy. They showed up. Fans showed up for him. They showed up all around for him, and now thank God they get to show up with him in a Dodger uniform. But he's just so good. And you know what? Not enough love. I don't think we're people talk enough about Shohei, but I don't think enough people are also talking right now about how good Freddie Freeman has been this year, because my God, that he's having another dude, arguably having already a Hall of Famer, arguably having the best year of his career.
I mean, it's been phenomenal. And, we've been joking, Greg. There was the article, was it last week, 2 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah. Joel Reuter. I think I got to tweet at him.
Who I don't know if you've probably seen this too, Clint. This guy ranked the top 10 first baseman in Major League Baseball, and Freddie Freeman did not make the list.
Yeah, I listen. That dude has a lot of BS content he has to put out. Hopefully, Bleacher Report isn't sponsoring the show in any sort of way.
Nope.
Making listicles, like 18 listicles a day, is tough, and sometimes your brain doesn't work too good. And clearly, Joel's was not working too good there. Maybe he should have sleep until trade deadline and off season, where he says, "Oh, here's where I think 10 players can go," and then you get all the moron aggregators being like, "Insider thinks." Anyways. That's a whole other story, guys. That's a whole other story. But yeah, Freddie is very good.
I mean, just having a fantastic season. After the game on Sunday, the batting average all the way up to a whopping 376. In fact, the next closest in the National League is Manny Machado at 324. So right now, Freddie putting some distance in the batting average category between himself and everybody else in the NL right now. But kind of want to go through the rest of the weekend as well. Obviously, the 14-11 game is one that folks are going to remember and talk about for a long time, with the Dodgers scoring 6 runs rather, in the 9th inning. Saturday, a little bit more of a frustrating day, Clint. I mean, the Dodgers lose 3-0, but I thought another good outing for Dustin May. 6 2/3. He gives up just the 2 runs in the ball game, 5 strikeouts. And, for a guy who is still definitely feeling his way back, I thought there were a lot of positives to take out of what we saw from him Saturday.
Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot of Dustin May's outing, obviously being out, and that was our lake day on Saturday. But the fact that he's somebody who's kind of getting out of that little bit of a slow spell, a little bit of a rut he was in a few starts ago, he seems to be trending back in the right direction. And the thing is, this Dodgers team desperately needs him, as we all know right now. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about the latest with Snell and Glasnow. But they need him, and he was great to keep his team in the game. Same with Tony Gonsolin yesterday, having himself a very, very nice start, as he said after the fact, without his best stuff. So those two dudes, finally, here we are. 6 years later, the guys we assumed would be leading, being anchors in this starting rotation. You have it with D-May, and you have it with Tony Smokes. I love to see it.
If you told me before the series that Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin would combine for, I think, 3 runs, because I think they the 3rd run on Saturday was off of somebody else, combined for 3 runs given up, I would have been like, nah, that's not happening. And then Roki Sasaki and Yamamoto would give up 10. I think we both would have been, all of us would have been like, no, you have that backwards. You need to flip that around. So it was nice to see those 2 guys really come up in big spots. Yamamoto was the worst I've ever seen him. I don't remember, maybe the worst was in Korea last year, but for the most part, that was one of his worst outings out there, period. So hopefully that was just a one-off that's not going to be consistent. But I thought Dustin May was great. I thought Tony Gonsolin was really, really, really good. And then Roki and Yamamoto just couldn't get it together.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Yama on Thursday, and Parker and I talked about this on Friday a little bit. I mean, it all was sort of condensed kind of into one inning. He had the one inning where he gave up the grand slam. It was like, I think in some order, like a walk, an infield single, a hit by pitch on an 0-2, which is incredibly frustrating. And then he gave up on one swing the same number of runs that he had given up in all of his previous starts leading up to that. Does give up the home run, I think, an inning later. You know, I'm not look at this point, Clint. I'm not really reading too much into it, other than he just kind of struggled with his command in a given inning, and it just kind of fell apart on him. You know,
and for both, if you're looking for a storyline, if you're looking for a narrative for both Sasaki and Yamamoto, it's the first time they made starts on short rest. Obviously, for first month and a half of the season, they were going every week, every Friday, every Saturday. Those were Yama days and Sasaki days, but given the state of the rotation, they had to pitch on what we used to call a regular 5-man rotation. And I wonder if that kind of threw them off a little bit, or if it was more like, hey, the Diamondbacks.
That's fine. I like that.
Where they were more hungry, or the Dodgers come to town and it's time to play a World Series game and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, to your point, Marcus, I'm not terribly worried about, especially Yamamoto. I mean, he's still my Cy Young front runner. He's been so dang good, and one blip is going to happen. He was not going to post a 0.90 ERA for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's ballooned all the way up to 1.8 now, Greg. It's all over now.
DFA.
No, it's over. It's over. It's over. That's it. I'm off the Yamamoto train. Absolutely. But yeah, it's just like kind of he's going to be just fine. There's just a couple things that you have to pay attention to. Same with Roki too.
Yeah, for sure. I guess along those lines, we talked a little bit about, obviously, we mentioned Gonsolin and his start on Sunday. 5 shutout innings, gave up 3 hits, 4 strikeouts in that one. But that does sort of dovetail into the pitching situation for the ball club. Let's start with the bad stuff and kind of get to the good stuff. The bad stuff, Clint, right now is it looks like Blake Snell's a little bit further away. They were hoping he was going to be able to go out and play catch during that series in Miami. I guess the report was he wasn't feeling great. I don't know if he had a little bit of the bubble guts or something like that. I'm not sure, but he was not able to work, and now they've pushed it back even further. And the words you never really want to hear, Clint, visiting with Dr. Neil Elatrash with Blake Snell. So that seems like not great news.
Yeah, we're getting updates from Dr. Neil's yacht that he gets to buy from the Dodgers here because he's going to visit him today along with Tyler Glass. Now, apparently these were already on the schedule for them to go visit the good doctor, we'll call him. But it seems to be a little bit more on the ominous side or the more concerning side with Blake Snell. Dave Roberts didn't have much of an update outside of, I'll tell you how I feel after, the doctor's visit on Monday. But it's definitely a pretty massive concern. And this was a guy we talked about a lot on Dodgers territory. Alana saying this was our dude that was supposed to be the innings eater, and losing him after 2 starts. That's really just thrown a massive wrench in the plan for the Dodgers here. So the hope is it's nothing major. It's nothing super serious. And if he has to be down for months, I'm going to err on the side of positivity and hope that it ends up being like a Yamamoto situation where he comes back just in time for the postseason. That's the whole reason you have him anyways, is for the postseason, and everything works out. So we'll have a little copium on that right now until we get more from Dr. Neil.
And it's his shoulder too, so it's not his elbow. So going to Dr. Neil Elatrash is not gonna be a Tommy John situation, at least, unless something else was missing in there and it traveled down to his elbow. But yeah, so it shouldn't be anything like that. Like you said, they're going to just go check on him, and it was supposed to already happen. Hopefully, he's fine. But all of these injuries, you just want them for the postseason, right? So if they're not pitching now, as long as you can get through what you have, like Landon Knack, even in his last start, looked pretty good, giving him no runs. So if you can just kind of get by with the Yoshi, the Sasakis, the Mays, Gonsolin, even Landon Knack getting in there a little bit, or if Ben Kasperius is a little bit stretched out too, you can get through. If you can get through with them being healthy come July, I mean, you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the goal right now, right? And I know, Greg, you've said that for Snell, you're willing to wait on him and then hope that he's ready for the postseason. It's basically what Clint is saying as well, just to make sure that he's ready to go for those big games. They will figure out a way to cobble through with enough arms, enough innings to kind of get you to where you need to be. The fact that you also have an offense that can erupt on any given night for 8, 10, 12 runs is also sort of a nice eraser for any bad pitching mistakes that you may have in any situation. But it's not all bad, right? Tyler Glass now is back and he's throwing again. He's playing catch, so he seems to be making progress toward getting back on the mound in a serious way. And Clayton Kershaw made a final rehab start. He had a 6-inning no-hitter, I think I saw last week at some point. Michael Kopech. Whatever,
lower than single A, but it doesn't matter. He's throwing the baseball. He's healthy, and then he had 2 runs over 4 innings on Sunday for AAA Oklahoma City. But he is blessed. He is ready. He is declared ready to rejoin the rotation. And I wonder, and Marcus, I want to know your thoughts on if they should just plug him in and leave Landon Knack, leave everybody else that's in the rotation now, and go back to what we were promised all this time. Go back to that 6-man rotation. What do you think they will do? What do you think they should do?
I think both they should and will do that, because I think, one, it gets Yamamoto and Sasaki back on a schedule that they are more comfortable with. I think for Kershaw too, you're giving him the demands of a 5-day schedule, which at this point in his career, I mean, let's just be honest, I think having that extra day of rest will do him some good. So I think that's kind of what they're going to do. I think it's probably the smart move at this point to try and stretch some of these guys out as much as possible. And I will say this: you talk about the lower than single A level. I will flash back to remember Randy Johnson making a rehab start in Lancaster, which was A ball, but getting lit up. I think he gave up 5 runs in 2 1/3 innings or something like that. And afterwards, he said, if Lancaster misses the playoffs by 1 game, you can hang it on me. So sort of thing. So there are some good signs. Michael Kopech as well, working his way back. Which sort of gets me to another point, though, Greg. Are we a little bit worried because we've seen the bullpen be kind of shaky at times? I mean, obviously the 14-11 game, nobody was particularly good that day for all the baseball. But we've seen Vesia kind of run into some issues. My guy Kirby Yates has been a little bit up and down. Are we worried that maybe this is a symptom of a bullpen that's been overworked this year?
Yes, it is a symptom of that. And now you have Evan Phillips, who's going to be out for a couple more weeks too, because he's not even throwing right now. So that's another guy that just came back, is now back on there. That's not doing so well. So, and Anthony Banda is another guy not pitching well at all. So that's a tough one to be. So the bullpen is overtaxed, and we knew that was going to happen at some point because they were leading the majors in relief innings, and they were leading at one point. I think Banda was leading the league it was like 4, but in leading the league with just wins in general. So yeah, there's a lot of the problems that are going in the bullpen are just overuse. We shouldn't be seeing Kirby Yates every single night. We shouldn't see Tanner Scott every single night. Those are the types of problems that are going to hurt you in this early time. Then they're going to let them just kind of take their time. They'll go on IL stints. They'll be back later on. And the guys that we want to be pitching later on will be the guys pitching later on, I assume, Clint.
Yeah. You hope it goes that way. I think there's some just general ineffectiveness, and some of it being guys being overworked. It feels to me like Alex Vesia is probably one of those dudes that's more in the bucket of being overworked. Kirby Yates, maybe a little bit. He's, this is an older dude now. He's 38, 39, whatever it is. For him to have to be pitching as often as he was, even, Luis Garcia getting into, I think, half of the Dodgers games. There's a lot of work there. Yeah. But I really wanted to focus on Anthony Banda, because I got some crap a couple of weeks back when I was just, hey, at some point if you want these big name relievers, you want Michael Kopech back, you want, whoever else back, you need to also be able to put them on the major league roster in some way. It's funny how even the Dodgers are allowed to only have 26 players on their active roster. And I was like, if you're looking at anybody on that roster, one guy who's kind of been a little shaky early in the season was Anthony Banda, and it has got a bit worse for him. He has his good moments, his bad moments. Did not have an abundance of good moments in Arizona, but And I understand people might come at me, especially the tortas in the chat coming at me with pitchforks and torches and all of this. But the reality is, you look at his baseball card before he became a Dodger last year. There's a lot of not very good numbers on there. So you hope that he wasn't a one-year wonder in LA last year, but right now the numbers are not extremely encouraging for Banda. And when you have somebody like Jack Dreyer doing, mostly doing well, Alex Vesia for all the things that he has done for the Dodgers bullpen, when it comes to a point in time where this team does need some roster space because they're actually getting guys back instead of putting them on the IL, Banda is one of those guys they might have to have a hard conversation with because what are we at? 4.82 ERA, 5.97 on the FIP. And before he joined the Dodgers, last thing I'll say, a totality of his career, 90 games, 5.69 ERA. So I'm hoping it's maybe the clock's not striking midnight and they can get him back on track. But he's somebody to watch.
Well, and I think the other part that sort of makes it difficult for Banda is they've got more left-handers in the bullpen this year. Last year, it was kind of an issue where, obviously he was throwing well and it definitely helped him stick around, but also the fact that they were sort of short. It was kind of him and Alex Vesia for a while when it came to left-handers out of the bullpen. Now they do have Tanner Scott. You mentioned Jack Dreyer, who has pitched very well this year. So there are other options if Anthony Banda does not turn things around. Now we're obviously, fingers crossed that whatever this is just a little bit of a speed bump,
hiccup,
and not anything, really serious long term. But to your point, Clint, if past this prologue, it's,
certainly it's still concerned.
Yeah, I think at the least they'll just put him on an IL stint if they seem like if this continues to be this way, put him on the IL, let him kind of figure some things out. He'll hopefully figure it out and come back because he was a big part of what they did last year. Everything I understand that happens a lot with guys though. Evan Phillips was not very good when he was in Tampa Bay, came over to Los Angeles, started to pitch really well, and now we love Evan Phillips. That happens a lot with some guys where they just come to LA and it's like, oh, you're actually a good pitcher now. So those things can happen.
Yeah.
I just wonder if this one is which one is it? Is the way that you think of it, Clint, or is it the way that the Dodgers are hoping it is? Because it very well could go either way at this point.
Yeah, and they're going to give him as much opportunity as possible because of how important he was for this team last year. And I agree with you, Greg. All of a sudden he could have a sprained pinky nail or something like that. land on the 15-day, try to get him right, and if it doesn't work, you have other options, and you also have options in the minor league level that are excelling and deserve opportunity at the big league level.
Yeah, just say you have a blister or something like that. That always works.
It always works.
Another wall. Punch another
wall. That's a good thing to do.
Don't do that. Yeah. I will say I am a Banda fan, and I love the story. He's a nice kid, like a nice dude. I've talked to him. Just right now, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers. You're not the Colorado Rockies where they fire the manager because they don't know how to put together a ball club or whatever. It's like, this is a team that has different expectations. And if you're not exceptional, sorry, you might not have a job here.
Did Bud Black get fired or did he get paroled?
I was thinking the same thing. I like the way you put it a lot better, but free my boy Buddy Black. He was finally freed.
Oh man! So a day off for the Dodgers, and then the West Sacramento A's come to town for a few games coming up, starting on Tuesday, which means we get a lot of Max Muncy jokes probably over the next few days. So,
we'll
dive into that.
You're going to miss it all, Clint, because you're not going to be back till Monday, so you don't have to worry.
No, I'm still around on the internet. I see it. I'm going to be very disappointed in the sites posting that and how many of the graphics we'll need to see on Instagram.
This is the first time that a Max Muncy has faced a Max Muncy.
Oh, just wait till one of them flies out or grounds out to the other or something.
Wait, didn't the A's option their Max Muncy though?
Oh, is he not with the big play?
Bring him up just for this.
He's got to come up.
Yeah, they have to give this to the people. This is what they want.
he's got to show up.
I mean, it's not what I want, but we'll take it, I guess.
Yeah, Clint. Before we get out of here, man, keep folks updated on what you're doing, man.
Yeah, I already threw in my shameless plug earlier. We'll be live 12 o'clock Pacific time, Dodgers territory. Myself, Alana Rizzo, going through the series, talking about the good, the bad, and all the things in between with your Los Angeles Dodgers. And I'll finally be back on my YouTube channel later on tonight. All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas. I've been kind of MIA, and I owe people an apology for that. But we'll be talking, we'll be hanging out, having some brews on the stream, and talking about the boys in blue.
There it is. All Clint all the time. Go check him out on his various platforms for sure. In the meantime, that's it for us for this edition of the Blue Review. Thanks to the folks in the chat. Thanks to the folks at LAX. Stick around. Travis and DeMarco coming up next here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. We're glad you can hang out with us. Parker Bell hanging out.
Ooh,
he's got
fancy.
I know, right? We got a little picture window here.
Yeah.
He's getting so good with all this stuff here. So in the meantime, for Parker, for Greg, for Clint, I'm Marcus. Thank you for hanging out with us. Back with you again tomorrow. 8:30, 8:55 right here on the Blue Review.
Peace. Bye.
Bye.